some other pics. Let's see. I don't think they have it.
Let's talk to the dude. We might have to special order it.
Marcus, I need a price check on Ernie Ball Amcaster stat. Just be a second. Can I help you, gentlemen?
Yeah, we're looking for a guitar pick like this one. How'd you hear about this? What did Pepperdello tell you?
Fingers be silver, his voice then be gold, but lest you think we're vain, we know it's open mic night, we don't care. Tenacious D, we reign. We reign supreme. Oh God, burrito supreme, and a chicken supreme, and a nacho supreme. Supreme, yeah. Go knockout, go knockout! Supreme!
What is wrong with you?
I'm retarded. What's wrong with you?
You know, I really loved Tenacious D's HBO show. It was fucking fantastic. It really was. One of HBO's greatest, original programs, I think I'd ever seen. One of their best. Kind of like, it's almost like a updated, kind of like musician's version, like Super Dave Osborne. And that's why, it was like, what was it, like 8 years later? I think it was like 2008 or something. After the show had, had completed, because it wasn't really that long. It's technically only 3 episodes over like 3 years. So they'd have like one section of it a year or something like that. I can't remember exactly how they did it, because I'm actually watching it on a box set, actually. I mean, I'd seen it on HBO, but then someone I was dating for a short time happened to have a box set that I borrowed for a little bit to watch it. And but when the movie came out, I was really disappointed, because the movie was kind of bad. It was like they took what was a good kind of organic concept, and they seemed to want to try and give it. It was almost like they made it. They added more flavor that they already had to this particular concept. They Tenacious D, and I think that if they would just left it like the HBO show, it would have been better. But because Tenacious D had kind of developed this cult following, especially with Gen X like me, or people who were especially Gen X that were into music or musicians, and there was a lot of celebrities that were in it too. Like the intro clip has what's his name, Ben Stiller, on it. So, but we'll touch on that, and let's get her going, and we'll go ahead and play another one of my favorite clips. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tenacious D.
So all the ladies in the house say yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, you motherfucker, say a prayer. When you fight, you gotta fight fair. You motherfucker, you motherfucker, you know what time it is. Tenacious D time, you motherfucker, go! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, you could probably never really have Tenacious D, or at least, something that was very similar to it, in these days, because people would just be like, it's too aggressive. I mean, even though Jack Black is still very popular, he he looks like a grandpa now. I mean, he's like 56 or something like that. I mean, it is like mid almost late 50s, and he's as fat as ever. He's as fat as ever, but he just kind of looks like Lou Albano or something. What he's all grayed out. He's got a big gray beard, and big gray, I mean everything, and it's like, but he still just rocks out. I guess he gave up on the trying to make himself fit into the Hollywood mold, and realized that he's going to be popular, and he's going to be famous no matter what he does. So whether he's giant, fat, old, or relatively in decent shape, doesn't really matter for someone like him. He has a certain charisma about him that just I actually think sometimes him kind of being this this kind of strange looking chubby guy actually kind of works for him. I really do. I think it would take away some of the charm that is him if you were to make this. I mean, it'd be hard for him to sell it if he was like attractive. You know what I mean? Attractive, like Hollywood type attractive. But, so we opened up with them going to Guitar Center to find the Pick of Destiny. With Ben Stiller there, and I was thinking about, I rarely go to Guitar Center anymore. We have one here in town. It's not terrible, but it's kind of like I can't afford any of the new stuff they have, other than maybe. Some of those, they may have a few pedals there, like some accessories, or some strings or something. Every once in a while, they have a good cheap, Strat, I've bought a few over the years, Strat copies. Like, matter of fact, where was that one? I got for like $80. I got a Strat that had this neck on it. This is like was it like a 40th anniversary? I think, or 50th. What says it on the back? Yeah, 50th. And it was that I wanted a Strat pack. See, this is actually a pretty nice neck. And it's real rosewood. And I fucked it up because I just barely over tightened it. And I forgot that these are not double action or dual action. Like, you can tighten it, but you can't loosen it. I don't know why they put truss rod in something that only goes one way. So apparently when I was trying to get it tightened up, and the thing was I had to rig it up because the whoever owned it before, I didn't realize that when I saw it. If you see it there, that the person had completely, I mean, it was just rounded completely almost, and nothing would go in there that would be tightened up. Anything I'd try to use something like, instead of using a metric, I try to use a standard that was just slightly large. It just, nothing would work. It was too big to go in a hole, or if you got in a hole, it would just spin. So I wound up taking the correct one. And then I got some weld bond, that stuff that's in like a putty stick, and it broke off little teeny tiny balls of it and dropped it down in there and shoved it down in and let it sit overnight. And that way I could tighten it because it was loose. It needed to be adjusted. It had quite a bow, it had quite a downward bow in it. And so when I adjusted it, apparently I didn't realize I went one, quarter or probably 1/4 turn farther than I needed to, and it won't go back. But one thing I was, today I got a package. I got my last pedal for my board. I bought a Joyo California pedal. I bought a Gakko, Marshall amp sim pedal. They're both supposed to be clones of the Sans amp, the Tech 21 Sans amp. They both sound like shit, and they both had a lot of noise. But I got this. Actually, it's funny because when I returned those, I got a credit, and I was like, well, I want to just get I'm just going to get a Behringer TM 300. So, and I got the package today, and it was from Sweetwater. They were like the only place you could like order it from, you know, that, well, I think it was like, yeah, I think that was the only place I really saw on Amazon. So I had to pay like an extra $7 or something, but that way I got to use my credit. So I didn't have to like go in and use more cash out of my pocket to get it from them directly. So I ordered it from Sweetwater through Amazon with my, you know, credit I had. And they do a good job. They really do. Sweetwater always does. You know, it was actually better packed than that when I got it. And they're famous for their little... I guess I know that most musicians are coming down from a heroin addiction, and they usually are like super like craving of, you know, candy. So I guess that's why they stick it in there. I don't know. I don't eat candy. Hadn't in years. I mean, I never really was a candy person anyway. Like I eat candy bars, or I might eat something like, you know, like Hershey's Kisses. I don't know. I'm not into hard candy stuff, you know. These things work great. They really do. People are like, well, they're plastic, they're noisy. It's like those metal ones were even noisier. Oh, I got some propaganda. And that's like, you know... I got a 2-year warranty. It probably will be fine. I've never seen them. I've never really had a pedal just break. If it works when you get it, it's probably going to work forever. And it's more propaganda. See if I want to buy some other shit. No. I mean, but this is old school though. This is like, you know, a good. This is good customer service though. You know, this is a proper professional way to handle things. You know, I ordered it over the weekend, but because I returned it on Saturday and my credit Saturday night, you know, probably didn't process it. I mean, they couldn't probably process it to go out until Monday. So I think it left out of it. It's like in Indiana, their main, you know, distribution center. So from Indiana to here was, you know, from Monday, it's probably when it left, and then it got here, you know, Thursday. So that's not bad. I'll cut Sweetwater a lot more slack. You know, they gave me a free sticker. I've already got one. What did I put it on? I think I put my another one I've got. I put it on something. There's a piece of gear in here that's got one of these on it somewhere. But yeah, Sweetwater is a good place to go to because rarely do you get something bad, and they, like I say, everything usually shows up in good shape, good working order. You know, a lot of times it's already been, like most of their guitars, I think, they do a total setup on it. And I want to say that do they put the strings you want on it? I can't remember. But you know, now I wonder, is this one going to be? Maybe it's all Behringers that are taped up like crazy. This one might be the same thing, where you can't get it out of. Okay, maybe it's just Behringer that does it. You know. They put like this tape around it. It's like, you know, you got this, but then you've got like, and this one's actually different because another one had like red writing on it or something like that. Like the tape had something. I figured I'd have a knife sitting around here somewhere. Here we go. I like these little plastic, you know, break them off, you know, kind of knives. These are nice. So yeah, it's like Behringer does that so that they ensure that you can't say, "Oh, I didn't open it. Oh, there's the red writing." So they always get their because the thing, I'm sure there's not much money made on these, because this is only $30. It's an amp sim pedal. This does almost everything that the Tech 21 Sans amp does. There's also, I think there's like one. There's like, because it's like there's, the mic placement, which I usually do. I think it's the middle one or the last one. I think it's off center. I usually just use the clean amp section. Yeah, that switch works a lot better than the other. It's like, the other one is like the middle notch. It's hard to it's like it's not clearly defined or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably set this one for the Marshall, then I'll set the one I already have for. So that way I can just hit one if I want a Marshall sound. I hit the other if I want a Mesa sound, and the Mesa sound. They both sound good if you set them up right. It's like usually I kind of, like the lows I keep about halfway. I cut the highs back a little bit for Marshall because they're a little bright. But that's my last pedal. So it's complete. But yeah, you couldn't. I mean, that's the thing there's a lot of things about the culture of being, a guitar person or being a, rock music person. Even if you don't necessarily, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to consider myself a musician. I'm more of a hobbyist when it comes to playing. I probably know as much or more than anyone that works at a Guitar Center, though, as far as the equipment goes. I'm kind of like, it's weird because it's like there's a guy out in England who makes really badass guitars. Plus, he also does a lot of reviews of cheap Amazon guitars where a lot of times he'll pull the frets out of, he'll take an Amazon guitar that he bought for like, $100, $125, something like that. He'll put stainless steel frets in them. He'll give it a total fret job. He might even, upgrade, some of the other parts in it and then make it into a good, stable, well working, instrument. But he also makes really badass guitar. And the thing is, he's not a very good guitar player. That's what's kind of funny is he jokes about it, too. It's like, so he's kind of one of those people he could play a little bit, but it's not like he can't play at all. But he said that, he only plays like, he tries to do like a David Gilmour wannabe where he tries to do like, slow, kind of these slow kind of, atmospheric sounding kind of solos, whatever, like David Gilmour would do. Yeah, $30. Here's the thing: if you go and look at the Joyo or the K-Line there's a couple different versions of it. They're all supposed to be Sans amp, Tech 21 Sans amp, clones. This one actually is. If this one I put up against a Joyo California, I put up against a Gakko Plexi Box, and these kick the shit out of it. I mean, that's why I ordered a new one. It was because I got those because I figured, well, this one's kind of worn out. Some of the switching is getting a little bit, difficult to, find the spot where it goes. It's losing its ability to get contact easily. So, I was like, you know what? Since the one on the Mesa, you just switch all the way around. It works fine. I never have a problem with it. It's usually a Marshall one I have difficulty with, so I get a new one. So instead of spending $75, I spent right at $30. I'm not going to count the shipping because that was just because I made a poor choice and then had to return something, and so I ate the cost for because I could have got it directly, but I wound up buying it through Amazon. And I would recommend. I only did that because I had a credit. I would recommend you just go to Sweetwater. The thing is if you ever need help with stuff, Sweetwater, people who work Sweetwater, I actually know what they're talking about. The thing is I mean, $30. The Tech 21 one was like, I want to say that's still like a $300 pedal. And this pretty much does all that. I want to say that like the 3 switches it has, I think the Tech 21 has a 4th one. And that's the only difference. I can't remember what that one does, though. But I could be wrong. I mean, Behringer makes a V-tone, or like something like that. Like it's like a big. It's like it kind of is more like a Sansamp Tech 21 because it's like a large pedal. It's like versus like one that's like this. It's like they got one that's like and it takes up a lot of room on your board. So it's kind of like that's something they say that one actually is better because it does have some other feature about it. But if you're going to put something on an actual pedal board, this is the way to go. And that's the thing is I just basically use this as my distortion pedals. And I use one of my. A lot of times I'll use like my BB preamp clone as a bass pedal for it. So board's complete. And let's watch some more Tenacious D, because I guess I'm lucky that I come from that era and I got to see that. It was the late '90s. It is mostly for the middle to early Gen Xers. It's pretty much their target audience, which is pretty like Jet Black and Kyle Gass would be in that earlier Gen X, and I'm in the middle Gen X, so enjoy it.
Rocket sauce, take 1. Rocket, rocket, all of my rocket sauce. All of my fucking rocket sauce, all of my rocket sauce. Hey, rocket, rocket, all of my rocket sauce. All of my...
Dude, that's the ice cream song.
I know.
Rocket, rocket, all of my rocket sauce. It's just kind of like that's very much Gen X humor. That's definitely our generation. It's silly, yet it's also kind of wildly inappropriate at the same time. It just seemed like here they just like whatever kind of crazy thing came in their head, they're like, let's just do that. Let's just go ahead and film to see what us doing that, and they just go ahead and put it in the show. And it was like that's why it was great, because they weren't really they didn't fear whether people would like it or I mean there wasn't really an issue of being fearful that people would be like, oh my god, it's so inappropriate, and there was no real cancel culture back then. I mean, we still had the politically incorrect people were still around, but they were becoming less and less. By the time we got into the 2000s, by the time the George W. Bush administration, that whole thing was just kind of dead. Here's another little bit they did that I also really liked. Where it's like you wonder what did their creative meetings. I wonder how those went when they come up with these ideas. Enjoy this one too.
I love you, baby, but all I can think about is kielbasa sausage. Your butt cheeks is warm.
Okay, thank you.
I checked my dipsticks. You need lube.
The 4th stage.
Yeah, all he could think about was kielbasa sausage. I checked my dipstick. You need lubrication. The door-to-door rocking bit was great. That was very creative. It was talking about the multiple stages of accepting death, meaning accepting the death of their dream of being rock stars, and that was just one of them. Was that they would start going door-to-door rocking, but yeah, it's I think things will come around eventually. We'll be able to have shows like this again. You know, I think that, you know, because of the fact that things are kind of things are more YouTube based, and I think that it'll go back more where the programming is more organized than just the randomness of YouTube. I mean, it'll probably be on YouTube or something similar, you know, but in the near future, you know, it's looking like a lot of, you know, corporate production companies are starting to, you know, they're starting to transfer over from network and cable TV to places like YouTube, and they're going to take it over eventually. You know, at least we'll still have some organic, you know, entertainment, you know, that's still around. But, you know, here you could get away with a lot more as far as, like, you know, when it comes to, like, quote unquote cancel culture, you know, because on network, if it doesn't take off immediately without a lot of backlash, then, you know, you're pretty much screwed. They'll just cancel, you know. I mean, if you take off without a lot of backlash, you're probably good to go as long as it's successful. Here, you can kind of build things, you know, more slowly and independently to the point where it's like, you know, it's less likely to have a cancel culture issue because there's not so many other large Hollywood entities attached to it. You know, they're all like putting pressure on, you know, the specific production company that makes it to cancel it. So we'll end with one of my favorite Tenacious D songs. It's a romantic one. This one's for the ladies. So if you happen to be one of them, which I have very few women that watch this, I don't know why. They're just stuck up, I guess. But yeah, enjoy it. And say hi to your mama for me. Love you, bye.
Okay, yeah. This one's for the ladies. But, you know, strangely, weirdly, I'm actually singing it to the dudes. But make no mistake, it's for the ladies. You don't always have to fuck her hard. In fact, sometimes that's not right to do. Sometimes you got to make some love. Fucking give us some smooches too. Sometime you got to squeeze. Sometime you got to say please. Sometime you got to say, hey, I'm gonna fuck you softly. I'm gonna screw you gently. I'm gonna hump you sweetly. I'm gonna ball you discreetly. And then you say, hey, I brought you flowers. And then you say, well, wait a minute, Sally, I think I got something in my teeth. Could you get it out for me? That's fucking teamwork. What's your favorite position? That's cool with me. It's not my favorite, but I'll do it for you. What's your favorite dish? I'm not gonna cook it, but I'll order it from Zanzibar. And I'm gonna love you completely. And then I fucking fuck you discreetly. And then I fucking bone you completely. But then I'm gonna fuck you.
I do not freebase cocaine.